Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
We have escaped the big snowstorm so far this winter, but it doesn't appear we'll escape this one. Everything is on track for what would be our biggest snowstorm in years. First, it'll be rain, and then once the snow starts, it won't stop for nearly 2 days.
Let's get right over to Andrew with the timeline and projected snow totals. Andrew.
And Kimberly and Devin, you're right. Let's go ahead and get right to it. First, the timeline. Guess what? From now through much of tomorrow, we are simply fine. Sure, it gets cloudier, but it remains dry. Overnight tonight, when you wake up tomorrow morning, head to school, head to work, fine on the roads, even during the early part of the afternoon. But by 4 p.m. and afterward, rain enters the picture. It's not until midnight and afterward where colder air comes in and that rain changes over to snow. And once it does, it means snowy, hazardous conditions all day Wednesday, all day Thursday. That's why we have a winter storm watch that goes into effect starting at 7 a.m. on Wednesday for Detroit and all of southeast Michigan, from Sanilac County down to the Ohio border. And it does not end until the end of Thursday night, 11 p.m. on Thursday. As it stands right now, we are snow-free. And one of the great things about Storm Tracker 4 is you can monitor storms anywhere in the country, and we can watch the evolution of this system as it takes place. Not much happening off to our west. However, farther to our north and west, northern part of the United States, this is where the cold front is going to set up. Once it gets closer to Detroit and southeast Michigan, it grabs this moisture down here near the Gulf of Mexico. And that combined will give us the snowfall that we're going to expect as we go from Wednesday into Thursday. A 2-day snow total still possible of a foot or more. If we make it over 14 inches by the end of Thursday, it'll make it to the top 5 of snowiest snowstorms here in Detroit. More on snow totals neighborhood by neighborhood. And of course, your 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, Andrew, and while the snow totals vary across Metro Detroit, it appears just about everyone in southeast Michigan is going to be impacted by the storm.
Victor Williams is live tonight with preparations underway ahead of this snow. Victor.
Yes, Kimberly and Devin. Michiganders are really no stranger to this type of weather, but this upcoming storm has a lot of people on their toes.
We've got our folks prepared. We've got about 97 drivers between our two divisions that handle snow operations on major streets.
With more than a foot of snow expected to fall by the end of the week, the city of Detroit is preparing for the worst.
We won't be sleeping this week, I can tell you that.
The same seems to be the case for regular people who are racing to stores like Gray & Son True Value Hardware for whatever they can find.
It has been a little crazy.
The best sellers right now, shovels and salt flying off the shelves.
There are straight shovels, curved shovels, salt. We have rock salt. We have calcium chloride.
And while the roads are expected to be covered in layers of snow, it's going to have an effect on restaurant deliveries, making everything even busier.
Nothing you can do about it. Everybody wants pizza. Nobody wants to go out on a snowstorm.
Bella's Pizza in Allen Park owner Jim Donowski says he has several drivers on standby just in case.
Yeah, we'll be busier, but then again, our deliveries are slower. So hence why you need more drivers, because what might take 25 minutes to run 3 deliveries might take 45 minutes to 50 minutes to run 3 deliveries, depending on how the snow. I have drivers that are ready to back up if needed. I also have drivers already scheduled for it. So we're just going to go with our basic regular thing, and if we need them, they're in. If we don't, we don't. And it appears both of those businesses are really going to be busy this week. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Okay, Victor, thank you. We expect a lot of school closures later this week due to the storm as well.
However, the largest district in the state will not be closing. Detroit School Superintendent Dr. Vitti released a statement reading, quote, "If heavy snow comes, we will shift to online learning for the bad weather days to ensure learning continues. School will not be canceled." As for other districts, most superintendents we spoke with weren't ready to release their plans for this week just yet, but interesting that for many, virtual learning is now an option on bad weather days. You can track the storm all week with interactive radar and weather alerts. It's free. Download it by, well, first you can scan the code, the QR code that we've got on the screen right now, or you can just search WDIV in your favorite app store. All right, now to the coronavirus, with cases showing an encouraging trend here in Michigan.
The state reporting 21,242 new cases over the past 3 days. That averages out to 7,000 cases a day, which is well below the 10,000 mark we've been seeing. 65 more Michiganders, though, have died from the virus. Moderna, meanwhile, says the FDA has given full approval to its COVID vaccine. And Michigan Medicine says they're now seeing fewer COVID patients coming to the ER, but are reminding everyone the fight against COVID-19 isn't over.
So overall, thank you for everything that the public is doing. It seems to be working. We're seeing less people in the emergency department. We're seeing less crowding, but we're still seeing a lot of COVID, and we've got a little ways to go before we cross the finish line on this one.
65.2% of eligible Michiganders have received at least one dose of the vaccine.
Tonight, it's official. John James says he is running for Michigan's newly created 10th congressional district. Now, there are still fights over the newly drawn district maps, but James' entry in the race would seem to shift the dynamic if this district holds its shape. Mara McDonald live downtown tonight. Mara, for starters, it likely clears the GOP field, I think many would expect.
Oh, Devin, I think you're absolutely right. I would be shocked if there was a big name Republican who stepped into this race to challenge James. He's a formidable, candidate, especially in a GOP primary. Now, the pressure is on the Dems to come up with somebody who's got the same kind of name ID and the same ability to fundraise. Here's what Michigan's newly drawn 10th congressional district looks like. Primarily Macomb with a smaller hunk of Oakland County. There is no incumbent for this seat, and speculation has been swirling since these maps were announced who would jump in. Tonight, John James, who ran 2 Senate campaigns and lost by a percentage point to Gary Peters in a contest which was a slugfest to the bitter end, is in.
Michigan's 10th, I believe, is the home to the American dream, the birthplace of the middle class. And when you take a look at the manufacturing opportunity, repatriating manufacturing back from Mexico and China, I believe that's best done here.
James doesn't live in the district. He and his family currently live in Farmington Hills, but he does have business ties here, and yes, moving is on the table.
That's something we have to discuss with the family. I wouldn't be a good dad if I sacrificed my kid's stability for a seat.
Candace Miller and Mike Bishop are co-chairing his campaign. Meanwhile, the Democrats do not have a candidate with the name ID and fundraising ability James has step in yet. But they have been looking, approaching popular Sterling Heights Mayor Mike Taylor, who has decided against a run. Names also in the mix, Judge Carl Marlinga and several local elected officials. Back here live, this is just the beginning of the maneuverings over these newly drawn seats. And Devin, Kimberly, I expect it to get pretty spicy pretty quickly. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald.
Mara, it's a little crazy. All of these candidates everywhere across the state are being asked to make these decisions without us really having these districts even finalized yet.
Well, and Devin, to be fair, I know a lot of people who've been doing politics a very long time who don't think these maps will stand. Yep. I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now. You just don't
good
know.
luck making a plan because exactly the election is going to be in November. Districts ready, I guess, ready or not. Yeah. All right, Mara.
A family planning to file a lawsuit against the driver who allegedly killed a mother in an accident in Fraser earlier this month. 15-year-old Katie Rice says she was driving down Hayes and 15 Mile with her mother and brother when a driver ran a red light and hit their car, killing the 57-year-old mother. Her brother hurt his foot and can't walk.
I woke up, I heard sirens and my car beeping. I turned and I see my mom laying like this, and there was blood gushing everywhere.
We did everything together. How am I supposed to do this anymore? I mean, I'm trying, Katie's giving me the strength.
Sterling Heights police responded to the accident but made no arrests. The family has set up a GoFundMe page to help with funeral expenses. We've posted a link to it on our website at clickondetroit.com.
An update tonight on a story we first brought you Friday at 11 about a school in Brighton going on lockdown over a false report of a person carrying a gun to the school.
State police tell us they responded to a call about a man walking toward Maltby Intermediate School with a gun. After investigating, they say a 10-year-old student fabricated the entire story and was suspended for bringing a knife to school earlier in the day. The student is expected to be charged with false report or threat of terrorism.
The investigation into former Speaker Lee Chatfield now includes Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel's office. The former lawmaker is accused of abusing his sister-in-law for more than a decade, starting when she was a teenager. Through his attorney, Chatfield denies the sex assault claim, but admitted to having an affair he called consensual when both were adults. Nessel's office says they are assisting with the investigation that also now includes state police.